Imobibia Kwaba Eba Melodies TV. So you might not know what is currently happening in Ghana, but the public sector, our healthcare delivery in this country is currently collapsing. And there, omo yare, eco hospitals are yintumi show. People are complaining. I saw a documentary at TV3 for a year. It was sad. Nini nane say nurses for say wamo strike. Nurse for say wamo strike. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama aban we a buy afiansa Mahama 85 months. It is a nurses decided say wamo strike. Obviously a about musika sembi. See ye can no kware krana. E ya de bia Mahama aban afiansa wamo aba beto. But nurses as you more cost strike because to them they believe say government is a continuum. But it is believed say NPP for HSR strike way say. And I'll tell you the entire NPP for HSR here. Maybe read the stories at Remo and then you see why today people are blaming the NPP. But then there, oh yeah, we now call hospital show. People are crying in Ghana. Let's go into the story. I'll say public sector nurses strike cripples healthcare delivery. Now, this story came out just yesterday. As an ongoing strike by public sector nurses is taking a toll on healthcare delivery in the country, with some major hospitals struggling to provide basic services as some of the wards have been deserted. A visit by the Daily Graphic to 3 major health facilities in Accra, Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Greater Accra Regional Hospital, and the Adabraka Polyclinic revealed the extent of disruption caused by the strike which started yesterday. It is strike no and rechi and omoshasiye. And the woko Kolebu, oko Ridge, oko Adabraka, yenshe patients. Patients are crying, people are dying, the nurses are not taking care of them. Also, a report from other regions also indicates that major health facilities in those areas had been affected by the industrial action. At Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the usually busy outpatient department, OPD, was a shadow of itself. Many patients, some visibly distressed, sat waiting for hours without being attended to, while others, out of frustration and lack of assistance, left the facility. There was a noticeable absence of nurses in the hospital's wards and consultation rooms. Only emergency cases and those already on admission were being attended to by some doctors and volunteers. Tibebi edruno, new patient bi a nurses na ehwe. But omo wo ho de dada ne kra ne nye nurse wo na ehwe omo ye doctors na ehwe omo. E na wo situation no aye critical no eno ye volunteers. Nti obi atres e bia onim nurse ejuma wa ye nurse ejuma ne da. E na nde wetu ne ho asi wo se memoa nkrofui nti ende wokọ Ghana hospitals are nurses for no omo hwe nkrofo eye volunteers ne doctors. Also, one of the frustrated patients who declined to give her name said, "I have been here with my mother since morning, but no one has called us. We have not seen any nurses. How can the whole hospital operate like this?" So Ghanaians are beginning to get frustrated. Also, at Ridge Hospital, the facility appeared to be slightly active. However, healthcare delivery was still significantly hampered due to the reduced number of nurses on duty. Some departments, including maternal care and general OPD services, had long queues and visibly frustrated patients. At Adabraka Polyclinic, the situation was quite different. Though the nurses' strike had affected operations there, the facility appeared to be more active. The administrator of the polyclinic, Yakubu Amidu, said they were doing everything possible to attend to patients despite the challenges. Also, we are definitely affected by the strike, but we are trying our best to provide care to all who come here. Our doctors and a few staff members have stepped up efforts to handle as many cases as we can, he said. Mr. Amidu, however, said that while emergency and priority cases were being attended to promptly, the facility was still grappling with the absence of a full nursing staff, which remains critical to efficient healthcare delivery. It will be maybe say, DNT and nurses no more strike. Let's go into the background of the strike. I said the strike initiated by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Muntie, Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Munshe edinin so emame. You're from GRNMA. The strike initiated by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association stems from grievances over delayed conditions of service negotiations and the government failure to address key welfare concerns raised by the nurses and midwives. The GRNMA has accused the Ministry of Health and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission of failing to honor promises made to them, such as allowances, accommodation issues, and workload. Also, the Ministry of Health has since appealed to the nurses to return to work while negotiations continue, cautioning that the ongoing industrial action threatens to collapse already overburdened public healthcare system. However, as of yesterday, there were no signs of the strike being called off. Inti nurses want to say, omo conditions in ye, omo sika sem allowances be, yentu mumo omo accommodation issues, omo workload, ejume gu omo so do dodo. Omo se aban enka hwee, aban emfi omo, into omo ko strike. I am not against people requesting for more conditions, better conditions. But me says yeti krum na sebe obimbreso ono die you were lenient with that person. Na abanfo fro buy no dia what they send the con gidi so ono die wanya no buy 5 months pe gidi wash as here cost strike. Ema ye ni na ti krum ha. Ema president Akufo-Addo time. Sanyama we ni na yenhu se mo ko ho strike. Na edu president Akufo-Addo time de mo se odabi Ghana for ho hia ntia no de mo nko strike. Na edu Mahama mbre de mure fi se Ghana for ho hia ntia no mo ko strike dia. Then you see de mo ye no entwa ye. Obi tinechi no ka se ase de mo pese mo ye na Mahama aban no omonim guase. So bitineci no kasa, is that person right or wrong? And I'm going to tell you why the people obi akasa maybe tremu di enti ende NPP link NPP to san ade we ya AC. Enti omo ya ade we ni na we ye no na aban ka se dabi. Yemfa ade no nko court. Because the nurses na ede ye the new aban we awaba no. It is not fair. Afianse yaba. Sa asem bi wo ho a, mombra ne enti na se ne yenka. To mean decide sa keke se wo ko strike. Dia mo ye enye fe. Inti aban e de koto court. E na court a order nurses no say omo strike no. Omo calling it off na e illegal. Let me read that story. I say an interlocutory order has been issued by the Industrial and Labor Division of the High Court to halt the ongoing strike by members of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. The strike, which began on June 2nd, 2025, has been declared unlawful, and the affected nurses and midwives are required to return to work immediately. The High Court's order follows earlier directions by the National Labour Commission, which also deemed the industrial action illegal. In the High Court, say the nurses say they are by illegal. Munko ye juma. Or said the aggrieved health workers initiated a strike in protest against the government's failure to implement a collective bargaining agreement signed with the previous Akufo-Addo administration. The strike, now 3 days old, has already begun affecting patients, including those with serious medical conditions. In its ruling dated June 5th, 2025, the court granted an interlocutory injunction to stop the industrial action. The register, Mame Daniels, stated, upon reading the affidavit of Martin Didemudu of house number 0047.6998, Suhum in the eastern region of the Republic of Ghana, filed on the 5th day of June 2025, in support of a motion ex parte for interlocutory injunction, and upon hearing the submissions of Alexander Ousu Jr. Esquire, counsel for the plaintiff, it is hereby ordered that the application is granted and the respondent, its executives, officers, members, agents, servants, employees, and other persons affiliated with the respondent are hereby restrained from continuing the illegal strike with immediate effect. So this is coming from High Court. Or strike no illegal. Na obi be bisa say okay. Asem we ni na ekoso no. Di entia na ende ye bo NPP din. Di entia na ye ka say NPP na territory. And this is the reason why. The mekacho say she edin so emaye. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Okay. And I work the Ghana Registered and Midwives Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association for kuo na. Openia wadano your friend the perpetual ofori ampofo. Mesre muntie dini ye perpetual ofori ampofo. Na openia your friend the perpetual ofori ampofo yi ni kunu NPP constituency chairman. Oni perpetual ofori ampofo. Onuni. Oni ni kunu no. Ni kunu eni. Your friend the Bright Oforian Pofo or your constituency chairman. But Tiano English a man from constituency. Now, the Aman Crawford Ebo NPP D more Ekrane say Emra Ghana for Eka say Galamsey under President Ekufado say Galamsey Ekumun Crawford more nurses more complaining, doctors complaining, university teachers courses yes strike wo ho ene sansensem ni nano. Na Ghana for enim say nurses send ya more complaining mu be gine mu because mo yes say Galamsey hunti mo cause strike. Now this is what happened. They withdrew from the strike. Anti-Galamsey strike no, they withdrew from the strike. That time omo president here ye kan ho asemi. Omo ba because omo nurses there. Omo nko strike no. Die ntia, omo se omo dwen Ghana ho dodo. Se omo ko strike ebe cripple the health sector. Inti die ntia na wo so omo ko strike, inti anya dia omo be ko strike. Inti Ghana for air draw boundaries no air say NPP time embra organized labor ka say wo ko strike no wo na wo ye nurses for penny eba be ka say wo ko strike because odwen Ghana for ho ende NDC aban ba ye de ori efi say odwen Ghana for ho we declare strike inti na no ukunu wo ye NPP constituency chairman ntia na wo ye aban we sa na say de a question and ankrofo bi sa. But mami ready NPP time, the reasonings they gave. Tie. Also, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association has announced that it will not participate in the nationwide anti-Galamsey strike declared by organized labor on October 10th, 2024. The decision comes after the National Council of Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association held an emergency meeting on October 8th, 2024. In a press statement issued on Wednesday, October 9th, Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association said it supports the cause behind the strike in the fight against illegal small-scale mining in Galamsey, but emphasized its commitment to continuing healthcare services for Ghanaians. So, you see, Mami read the biome. In a press statement issued on Wednesday, October 9th, Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association said it supports the cause behind the strike in the fight against illegal small-scale mining into brackets Galamsey, but emphasized its commitment to continuing healthcare services for Ghanaians. In somewhere, ya mame eni ni kuo kan ne say Galamsey ne de ntokwa ye kuntia Galamsey na ye ntokwa pa ofo so na so strike no wonko de ntia wo dwen Ghana fo nkwa ho. Emphasized its commitment to continuing healthcare services for Ghanaians. Tiende de question ankrofobisa ne say. So today, Ghana for healthcare services no. Are you not committed to it again? That's the question Ghanaians are asking. Now, allegation, and this allegation is coming from Sami Jemfi Boy. As some of the Bible too, social media crass say, Maame no declare strike ni wiye no. with free Ghana. That's the allegation. Let me just read the post he made. Sammy Jemfi boy, no post no make here, no. It was too harsh. Okay, it was too harsh. But someone Sammy Jemfi boy eba Troy, no. Or say, I have to be frank with the president and all executives of Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association for their plain and sheer stupidity. Or say, how do you declare a strike and travel out of the country, and in addition, make sure not to be reached for discussion? In the allegation as Sami Jemfi boy no they to nurses ne so say, omo mpanyimfo ne so say, omo declare strike ni wie ye no, omo etu kwan ye free Ghana. Omo nim say omo declare strike aban be ye na adwen say oni omo tenase akasa. So say omo declare strike ni wie ye no, omo etu free Ghana, omo etu kwan ye free Ghana. Aban person reach out to them any omo din komo kra no. Nowhere to be found. Also, the strike is even illegal and has no grounds in their course of work. Instead of leading the association with dignity, you are blindly fighting the government illegally because of your NPP party. Nonsense. The woman is the president of Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. I'm seeing a lot of people say, Charlie, but no query no etiefo no kware ni nyame nimni no kware ni nyame nimni yan he ya won oman we politics ebebo sa oman yan he ya. And you see, sometimes me, I have long been an advocate of the fact that so we be to me aye juma yema nenye devoid of the political lineage, the political leanings. I have always been of that analogy. I have always believed in that thought. Like obetumia yejuma na yema nenye. It is something I've always believed in. But you see, at the end of the day, eyana mensa esi form onimnentia, because we see clearly obia oye juma ma oye juma ewo a certain sector yema so private sector na enye na aban na ewo so a we see enyama asede ekoso, and then you be like your mind ni yesum anase yesum your political party. Because listen, yes, different cases. Obibeka so galam say die no different. We momo die no na musika sem na galam say no. Yes, Obibeka say, but the truth of the matter is say galam say die no say sebi we nya patient ubesi den enya wu sika no. And that is the thinking I need. I think say it should go into it. Because we nurse, we patients. The ma wo nsa kwa no ene se enkrofo ebe yare no mo aba hospital meboa ene ne ma nsa kwa no enti se galamsey no affect Ghana fo kum Ghana fo bebre na afi we nya nipa bi amba hospital ho a nsa besi da kwa no wo kra wo ye nurse no se galamsey na affect insuo bi na insuo no okokonom na later nyame nka se mensi ye nka se mensi na boni bi ba beto a na wo ba bewu a do you have life? But galamsey de na ba ye na life threatening ne kra no asamo a mo be ka tre Ghana fo ni eni. And let me read the full letter. If I'll get the full letter, this is the full letter. Let me read the full letter. Eni, it's a communique to members of Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Also, the National Council of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association held an emergency meeting on 8th October 2024 and wishes to state as follows. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association and its members will not embark on the strike action declared by organized labor, and therefore directs that all nurses and midwives stay at post and continue delivering safe and quality health services to the good people of Ghana. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association solidarizes with member trade unions and associations under organized labor in the fight against galamsey and will continue to advocate for stronger national interventions to curtail the galamsey menace in Ghana. The Pakra was signing here Perpetua Ofori Ampofo, Omo president. Ono no signing here. The signature neboho. Ono ene the general secretary, Dr. David Tenkran Chum. Inti omo say, omo fwa galamsey ntokwane so. Nanso, strike na organized labor person mu declare no mo di omo nko. Because they still want to offer safe and quality health services to the good people of Ghana. Inti galamsey ana a threaten the lives of Ghanaians. A threaten mokra nurses no monkwano. You decide they said that we are still going to offer quality lives, quality services to the lives of Ghanaians. But ende musika sem eno se ye kan kwara yes sika de sika ye muja ba yes ye kan kwara sa musika sem adie yi enya ade no kra threaten mo nkwan. But don't get me wrong, I am not saying say if you deserve something am I fan mamo. If you deserve something, obviously it should be given to you. But ye compare government be also no there na oye and then so there na oye. And that there will say a yewusika sembi. Only President Akufo-Addo aban sign a contract bi say allowances bi ebe koso. President Akufo-Addo aban omo time no one yes allowance na amount. But His Excellency John Dramani Mahama aban by any day by force so the pressure to ne so say on yes allowance ni amount. No problem. Nini na eye kasa. Nini na eye kasa. Yeti ye niya mo declare strike. Yeti ye niya ye declare strike. Obiti nechi no ka say eye NPP for bid na wo ye because ukunu eye NPP constituency chairman there. Is the person right or wrong? Maybe the person is wrong. Maybe the person might be wrong. But how do you explain? How do you explain? Today, the lives of Ghanaians no ehun hia mo biom. Eye mo bottom ne hia mo. Me say, don't get me wrong. Men ka say mo obi abotom hia no. Also bottom hia. But are we considering the fact that this is even a new government? Was it part of your considerations? If under President Akufo-Addo you could consider and decide not to go on strike, this time around, no, were you able to consider, say, hey, oh dear, at least we put a new government. Oh dear, my uncle strike. Oh dear, no problem, my uncle strike answer. The new government, yen sha say ye bomb mokoko. Say letters near betro demonstrations near beya for oh dear, for 1 week, 1 month, yen sha say ye bomb mokoko na ye bibi. For now, no my uncle strike. Yen decide to say ye didi. Me assure say wa wutie me kra no. Umpu nim say nurses are strike. E ji say bia unimu bia wako hospital and there yan hwe no. Me see TV3 for documentary no. Na mami no osun kwa hospital a yan hwe no osun because obre. Me say menka say if you deserve anything, you shouldn't be given. All I'm saying is that, is it fair? The treatment you are giving to this government, is it fair? What you did in the previous government, just about October, yao. October, November, December. October, ya just endu 1 year. Obimbre so dear, no dear, woman, dear, let's be lenient with them. Let's be lenient, yen Ghana for. And there will be full by ya or no dear, yen Ghana for ye quite a strike. And the strike action was more like it was the first move, it was your first move. You couldn't like Mentias here. The strike action was the first move you could do. Eda Ghana fu enim. Eda obi enim. As to whether it is fair or not, eda obi enim. Ati ase. Ewo. Internet for Montreal Majo comment box ni mo. Medase.